Hello and welcome to Scrolling with Ceazor. Today is June 12th, 2026. Okay, so taking a look at the chart, so we have a, bottom, crabbing around in the bottom down here, looking okay. Gold is all right as well for me. What do we got? I wonder if Sonic Pump says Sonic pumped a little bit, 1%. Yeah, everything's just crabbing around down near its bottom. Hopefully we can do a nice big recovery. How's Hype looking? Hype's back in range for me. That's good. So yeah, as always, it's not financial advice. You do what you got to do. If you want to know how this stuff works, you can always DM me, and I'll explain to you what I'm doing with these in more details. But anyhow, that's that. Let's move on to the tweets today. But as always, it's not financial advice. You just do what you got to do. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna kind of talk a little bit about some stuff. Like I had a little bit hard time finding anything because everyone's just talking about SpaceX. Everything's just SpaceX, and then you got politics and just other stuff like that, right? So, a little bit of World Cup, but mostly just SpaceX today. So let's get into the first thing I want to talk about today. So here is this flex. I did a video on this if you want to understand how this thing works. It's pretty cool. Anyways, so right now you can loop up your, USDC and, you pay, so you choose your interest rate that you're willing to pay. And if you loop it up, you're getting a pretty decent APY on your initial capital. Now there is this number here, this upfront fee, that this is basically your risk. So if you do loop this up and you see this upfront fee is like $40 or $100 or whatever it is, depending on how much capital you're looping, right? This is basically your loss. So if you get redeemed before you make this amount of money, then you're basically taking a loss. But after that, it's all profitable. And if you get redeemed, then you just have to consider whether or not you want to loop up again. Now, this interest rate is changeable. You can adjust this interest rate, but you have a 7-day cooldown, so you cannot adjust it on the fly. You have to kind of predict the average interest rate. So average interest rate, according to this image right now, is 3.07. So you basically want to try to beat that. You want to be a little bit like around that number or a little bit higher so that you can kind of keep inside here and not get redeemed. There is a substantial amount of capital in here, so $379,000. So that first would all have to be used before anyone gets redeemed, right? So you could go a little bit more degen and hope that doesn't get used up. But I've seen it go down pretty quick, and especially when people are looping, then it can go down quite significant. But anyways, so that's that. So you can check this out. I would highly suggest you take a look at it. If you're a stablecoin maxi and you're just using USDC, then this is something you can certainly consider as an option. Okay. Now this is built by the Yearn team, and it is using YVUSD. So there is some extra consideration on the risk of YVUSD, as it's probably the most risky of all the Yearn products, but it's not as risky as a lot of other products out there. Okay. The next product I want to talk about today is Flying Tulip. I've done a video on this as well. I mentioned it quite often in my podcast, but it's pretty. There's something in here that is really significant. Okay, so they have this Flying Tulip token, right? FT, the Flying Tulip token that there was a pre-sale, and that's all that was ever minted and sold were the people who participated in the pre-sale. There's no inflation. You could buy this FT token if you wanted to, and then speculate on the value of that. You could also go to this marketplace and buy the put options. So if you were to say buy this one here, number 18, you would pay $10,600 to get this NFT filled with FT tokens that are backed by $10,000. So why would you do this? It's because you get downside protection. You can always exit this put option and get back $10,000. So this is a little bit of a premium on all these. So you can go through here. You could buy these instead of buying the FT token. However, there is an other option. Like if you were to just mint here, if you were to go to this FT token and go to FT token and it's basically earn and FT USD, and you were to just deposit your USDC as FT USD, you're going to get an APR on Ethereum mainnet. It's like 4.3. On Sonic, it doesn't. How do I change this? I don't know why it doesn't change. It's like 26%. But basically, when you deposit into here, you get these, you stake these FT tokens for SFT tokens, and then your yield is being used to buy FT tokens, the governance token. So all this entire system is all FT maximalist. So every dollar that this system generates is used to buy FT tokens. So this is a way to use your yield to dollar cost average into the FT token, and you can sell that FT token if you so please, right? But if we go to like Dex Screener and let's check FT Flying Tulip token. Let's see, Flying Tulip. I'm going to stay with, let's just use the main net pool. You can see it's kind of, it's on its way up now, but you know, this is, you can take that first dump as you please. And then I always wondered why people were dumping these, because it made no sense to me. But now, like, it's kind of bouncing around and it's slowly, you know, grinding up versus US dollars versus, well, this is still, it's going to look the same versus USD. So yeah, I would consider these guys. I like this project. I deposited into this. I preceded it, so I'm quite biased on this, but I still think it's worthy and consider sharing. It's a fantastic system built on like primitives that people have, that the team has seen work in DeFi, and some new extra ideas, especially like these NFTs, these put option NFTs. So that's enough of that talk. Okay, let's move on. So Gabriel Sapiro tweeted this out today, and I liked it, so I retweeted it. And he's like, you know, we should remove the like chatterboxing inside DAO's governance. So instead of like, I want to make a proposal, so here's like, you know, 5,000 words of English text saying what I want to happen, and everybody discusses it and votes on it. Instead of that, if you have an idea, then you should code it up and propose it via a like GitHub proposal, you know, like, or whether it's through GitHub or not, I don't know. But like, you know, if you want to propose something, code it up, either use Claude or hire a dev if you're not a dev, code it up and propose that. And that's what governance should be, is actual script or code that can be executed if it's deemed good. Now, you might have to explain what this code does so that all the token holders can vote on it, but it'll knock out a lot of the noise. I think it's pretty interesting. It's an interesting idea. Okay, so here is this is the other bit of news going around. Like, Michael Saylor basically came on stage and said, you know, like, I said for you guys not to sell your Bitcoin. I never said my company wouldn't sell Bitcoin, even though, you know, he did say I will never sell Bitcoin many, many, many times. But here he is saying that, no, I didn't say the company wouldn't sell Bitcoin, so I sold a little bit. Like, only stupid people would think I'm not going to sell any of it. But I do recall him saying many, many times that, like, it's like, why would he want US dollars? Why would he want to sell Bitcoin? Bitcoin's better than US dollars and blah, 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 blah. But so, yeah, that's going around now. And he's looking like a fool in that sense, or a fraudulent person, or I think he's legally he's fine, but, you know, like, sentiment wise, he's in trouble. Okay, so this dropped yesterday. Jaws, this is like an OG guy from Ohm. Basically, he had $80 million at Ohm's height, and today he has like $500,000 left. And, you know, you can kind of read through this, and it kind of makes me a little bit like, I don't know, it kind of makes me feel maybe a little bit sick. I wouldn't say I'm angry, but I would just say that, like, I feel like this is kind of like, I kind of feel maybe jealous a little bit, but because, like, I at that time, like, you can kind of say that I fumbled DeFi a little bit. Like, I'm not down, I'm not, you know, I'm not out, I'm not poor, but, like, at the same time, you know, I could have made $80 million or $20 million or what have you if I just, you know, sold some of my morals and, you know, played along with a lot of those Ponzi's that happened at that time. But anyway, so you can read through this and see how someone basically went from $80 million to 500K, just basically wasting his money on stupid shit and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so here's DeFi Saver talking about that. They're doing some like DeFi Saver token reward points if you use DeFi Saver to do different things. And one of the things you can do on this is you can use it to migrate your CDP. So if you've got a loan on Aave, you can migrate it to another platform. And I would highly suggest you to look at Liquidity as an option to do that, because Liquidity has some very cheap rates right now. Let's take a quick look at what they are. So if I open up the Liquidity and Liquidity app, I'm just going to use this because it's quite easy. I know where it is. So as you can see, to borrow versus ETH, and it's currently redemption shielded, so you could even go much lower than this, and you would never get liquidated, but you'd want to monitor it, right? So yeah, like less than 3% to borrow versus these different collaterals, borrow stablecoins. So you could migrate your position to here via DeFi Saver, earn some DeFi Saver points, and automate some of this process. Do it as a Zap transaction basically, and yeah. So think of that. Look about that. Dig deeper. So Etherealize says something interesting here. So Ethereum investor Stanley Dunkelmeyer, I don't know who this guy is, says the whole payment system will be in stablecoins in 10 to 15 years. So I'm hopeful with this. I agree with this. So it's a long-term play. Of course, this is 10 to 15 years is a little bit ways out, but at least hold some ETH. And stake it, hold Lido staked ETH or Rocket Pool ETH or any of the LSTs that you like, and just put it in cold storage and just hodl it away, and or you can do stuff like I do where I put it to work like galore, right? So yeah, but make sure you have some just in case this guy's right and this comes to fruition. Okay, so I got two more tweets for you. This guy, this is just a little videos about the top 3 people who did a hackathon at Base. And I like to see this. Now, I don't know about these projects. I didn't watch these videos. I'm not concerning myself with what they are building. However, I do like the fact that Base is giving back, trying to promote the new projects to develop and to build, and help new devs to join the ecosystem, and we can get more going. So yeah, so that happened, and that's great that Base is doing this kind of hackathon and trying to give back a little bit. Okay, last tweet today is Frax Finance. Just in, Fortune magazine just released Fortune Crypto 100, a definitive list of the most influential blockchain companies, built with data analysis from these guys and a survey of leading crypto assets. So the stablecoin ranking includes Frax at number 5. So we got Tether, Circle, Sky, Paxos, Frax, Athena, Curve, World Liberty Financial. I don't even know this. Ceazor de Grande and Gemini. So yeah, I'm happy to see Frax is growing in this. Frax can grow a lot more than where it is right now. I hope it does. I'm a big fan of them and what they do. This is my centralized stablecoin of choice is Frax Finance. So anyway, so that's it. I hope this has been useful and interesting, and thank you for listening, and goodbye.